Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muslim Network TV. I am Imam Hassan Amin, and this is your daily Hadith. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the Prophet was the most generous of all the people. He used to become more generous in Ramadan. When Angel Gabriel met him, Gabriel used to meet him every night during Ramadan to revise the Qur'an with him. Allah's apostle then used to be more generous than the fast wind. I want to take you on a little journey regarding this, and that is, alhamdulillah, the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessing be upon him, during Ramadan, he was most generous, like Ibn Abbas said. And so we also have to be most generous, us as Muslims, and the non-Muslim too, and they could be generous, that'll be fine too, it works out for them too. But for Muslims, I want to encourage you to be generous as the Prophet did or did during the time when he was alive, and he was like the fast wind in terms of giving and helping other people and being more generous to other people. And there's a parable in the Qur'an, or example in the Qur'an, where it mentioned about the giving of sadaqah. Sadaqah is a charity. And so what happens is that when a person gives one sadaqah, it's like planting a seed. That sadaqah that they're giving, planting a seed, and the seed grows into a stalk. And on the stalk, it has 7 ears. And on each ear, it had 100 kernels. And so for that one sadaqah that you gave, or that an individual would give, it will earn them 700 in blessing, 700 more in terms of its worth. And so I want to encourage the people who are looking at this to do the same thing, to go ahead and give your sadaqah, like the Prophet was most generous during the month of Ramadan. And so also your sadaqah, or the charity that you give, can grow and become from 1 to 700. Go on a little journey with me. For example, if you, when you're near a field, and that's your field, and you plant one sadaqah in it, and then it grows to one stalk, and after that, it grows 7 ears on them. Each ear, it has 100 kernels. And so just imagine, for example, you put one seed in the ground. And so then you put another seed in the ground, and that's another 700. And another seed in the ground, another 700. And you keep doing this over and over and over again throughout your lifetime and on your journey towards paradise. That paradise is the place we're trying to get to as Muslims. We do all these things to please Allah and to please the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. Ati'u Allah, ati'u Rasul. Obey Allah and his messenger. So you imagine again that you keep planting the seed, and more and more and more, your field get larger and larger and more, and you have more crops there and more blessings for Allah on your mizan, on your what you would call your weight or your scale on the day of judgment. And so you keep giving sadaqah, and you have one stalk, giving sadaqah, and then 2 stalk, giving sadaqah. Well, you get the idea. And so doing that, later on, you find out you have a whole pasture, a whole field of what? Sadaqah. And then on the day of judgment, Allah looks at that and put that on your scale to get what you gave, and you were generous, like the Prophet was generous, and that helps you to get into Jannah. So that's why we have a journey to get to Jannah. And the Jannah you were talking about, I remember reading a hadith where Allah said to the angel Gabriel, he said to him, basically look at hell. And he looked at it, he said, no one would want to go there. And then he put around it all kinds of temptations. He said, look at it again. And then he came back and said to Allah, oh Allah, no way can people resist going to hellfire with all the temptations around them. And then he said, look at the paradise. And the same thing happened there. And he said, oh, this is a beautiful place. People want to go there. But then you had all the different hardships and the things that people have to do, and then the struggles they have to do, and how patient they have to be in order to get to Jannah. He said, like, nowhere people are going to be able to do that. And so I say all that because when, alhamdulillah, I was reading the hadith, I saw my ayah of Qur'an, and it was talking about what happens to a person. It was a tafsir on it, explanation of it, and it was on it. And it's always talking about what happens when a person gets to Jannah. And then Allah would tell the angel, say for example, you get into Jannah. And so Allah will have the angels come to you and basically pat you on your back and congratulate you because you went through all that hardship in order to get to Jannah, all those trials and tribulations in order to get to Jannah, and they're happy for you. And the example of that would be like a person win, for example, the World Cup or the World Series or Super Bowl, whatever kind of competition they're in, and then people are happy about it. People congratulate them. And so you have angels that come to you in paradise and they congratulate you, you made it. All that sadaqah that you given, and all the way that you help people, you gave it. And so, of course, alhamdulillah, you get a lot of blessings for that. And I want to also remind you that we are, whatever we want in Jannah, that we get whatever we want in Jannah. And all start with just giving that one sadaqah and help, and for those people being generous to the people, as the Prophet Muhammad was generous to the people during Ramadan. Thank you for watching Muslim Network TV's Your Daily Hadith. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Ramadan Mubarak.